Hello friends, welcome to yet another video on Java 8 Functional Interface. In this video, we will see a hands-on session of what we have learned in the previous video. So here, what we will see is implementing the runnable interface and providing it to a thread class, first via the classical approach, where we have a class that implements the runnable interface and overrides the run method. Then we will do the same thing with an anonymous inner class, and finally we'll end the session by implementing a runnable with a lambda and giving an instance of this lambda to the thread class, or the instance of the runnable defined via the lambda to the thread class. So friends, without much ado, let's quickly start. So now I would be trying to implement runnable using the classical approach. So what I have to do is to define a class. I'll say custom runnable IMPL. It implements my runnable, and as you know, I have to override the run method. Right, there is nothing special about this, so let me just give a sys out and I'll say hello world. I'll just format this. And how do I pass this to a thread? So in my main method, I'll create a thread T, new thread, and I will say t.start. And to this thread, so if I pass an instance of this runnable, this particular job will be executed by this thread. So as I had previously mentioned, thread is the worker and runnable is the job or the task that has to be done. So let me create an instance of custom runnable IMPL. So I will say new. So far so good. Let's quickly run this and see what is the output. Perfect. Now let's try to do it the second way, which is using the implementing runnable with the anonymous inner class, right? So let's quickly do this. I will just comment this off so that it doesn't interfere with our previous code. So what we can do is, I'll just remove this too. How do we create a anonymous inner class? I say runnable run equal to new runnable, and I will give the same sys out, right? So friends, just a recap, normally in Java, you can't create an instance, you can't use new or create an instance on a runnable. You can't create an object or an instance by a interface. We always need a class. But what we see here, we are not actually breaking that rule, but what we see here is a class, anonymous in a class, so a class that does not have a name, which implements the runnable interface and which overrides the run method, right? So it's just that. So this is nothing but, because it's because this is an anonymous class and it's inside another class exe1 underscore java 8, it is called an anonymous inner class. So to the thread, I provide the instance of this anonymous inner class, which is run. So let's quickly run this and see what is the result. Perfect. Right. So now we have seen the implementation of runnable, the classical way, the anonymous way, with the anonymous inner class way. Now let's see it with lambdas, right? So I will just remove this and I'll remove this. As you know, how do we define a lambda? We have to remove the access modifier, the return type, and the method name. And what is remaining is the method arguments and the body of the method. How do we convert it into a lambda? We add the arrow sign in between the method arguments and the body, and we define the type of this lambda. We know that we know that this lambda is of type runnable. That means we are writing this definition or this body for which method? We are writing it for the run method of the runnable functional interface, right? So what are the rules again with which we can again fine tune this lambda? Because it's just one statement in the body of the lambda, we can remove the curly braces, right? And we also don't need this. And we will just change the method hello world via lambdas. Let me provide this as an argument to the thread constructor, and let's run this and check it out. What's the output? Perfect. Friends, hope you have liked this video on the implementation of runnable in three methods: the classical approach using an anonymous inner class, and then finally the most interesting one, implementing runnable using a lambda. Hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.